In this video, I'm going to be walking you through my 3-phase plan that I've been following to go from $0 to $3 million a year in my business. I'm going to be walking you through each of these 3 phases, kind of the ingredients that are involved at each phase, and show you how they kind of stack on top of each other as you move from one phase to the next. Now, if you're new here, my name is Greg Hickman. I'm the founder of a company called Alt Agency, and we've trained over 700 digital marketing agencies, creative service firms, service providers, following essentially this exact same game plan to be more profitable, more systematic in their business so that they can build a business that is high 6 and 7 figures, that pays them well as the founder, but also allows them to work less than 40, ideally even 30 hours a week so they can enjoy all the things that matter to them in their life. So the first principle and framework that I want to share is one that I learned from a guy by the name of Clay Collins. He was the founder of a company called Leadpages, kind of like the first version of ClickFunnels if you had never heard of Leadpages. And I heard him share this at the Leadpages in-person event. I believe it was called Converted. He got on stage and he said the fastest way to build a business to 7 figures in this case was to focus on the 5 ones. And he said that the 5 ones was to focus on serving one avatar, selling them one solution, using one conversion method, focusing on one traffic source, and to do that for 1 year. Now, when I heard this information, it was January of 2017. I started implementing this in February of 2017. I came back from that event and I looked at my business and had a real conversation. I said, well, look, I'm actually doing the avatar thing. We were working with, online course creators, people that were selling courses, which tended to be authors, speakers, coaches at the time. My problem was we didn't have just one solution. We kind of had a lot of different solutions. And I didn't really have one conversion method. I was trying to be everywhere to everybody. And so right after me realizing that I was dialed in on the who we served, the how we got them the answers to their problems and the solutions to their problems immediately was a roadblock. Maybe that's the case for you. So in 2017, we said, hey, we got to do something about this and we need to refine our business. And so these 3 phases are kind of, in my way, the evolution of the 5 ones and how we applied this in our business that worked for us and has now gone on to work for a lot of other agencies and service providers and clients that we've helped, even peers in the marketplace that I see are following a similar blueprint. Again, this is how we're doing it. We've had clients that follow this path, and you've probably seen others that are following a similar path as well. But I wanted to deconstruct it so that you could understand exactly all of the moving pieces and how you can apply it to you based on which of the 3 phases you are in right now. So to do this, I'm going to walk you through kind of each phase. So the first phase is really 0 in revenue to somewhere between 30 and 50K a month. Now, for us, we were around 55K when we started experiencing some of the problems that came from being in that phase. Nowadays, we see a lot of people come to us where their income is fairly stable from a handful of clients, and they're able to consistently generate 30 to 50K a month. To get to 30 to 50K a month, we talked about the first of the 5 ones, which is one avatar. So we focused on making sure that we're serving one ideal client profile, and we want to sell them one core solution. Now, the difference here that I noticed is when we were around 50K, we didn't necessarily need it, but we wanted it. We found a way to kind of deliver the same outcome, but in 2 different ways. So that's why I say 2 different modalities. We had a done-for-you service building out webinar funnels, but we also created a program that was more done with you. It was basically like a consultative program, part training, part coaching, part consulting, where we walked people through our process to get the webinar funnel live in their business. So they basically did more of the labor. They utilized a lot of our pre-built tools and pre-built automations that were in tools like Keep and ActiveCampaign, now Go High Level. And it was a more affordable price point and allowed us to serve those people that just couldn't afford our premium done-for-you service. At the time, we were charging 15 to 25K for the done-for-you service, but we were able to charge 7,500 for the done-with-you experience. And we had a lot of people that were skilled enough in the tools that were willing to go through that pathway. Now, it took us time to get to that. We served, dozens and dozens and dozens of clients in the done-for-you model before we ever started showing people how. We accidentally stumbled into it. But with many of our clients, if you've delivered your service enough times within that 30 to 50K range, you can find a lot of growth opportunity and profit in adding a second delivery modality to your current offering. So you're still delivering the same thing. The outcome is the same. The vehicle in which you get them there is different. So hopefully that makes sense. The one conversion vehicle vehicle was sales calls. So we were selling, premium price services. Most agencies and consultants typically sell over some sort of phone call or Zoom. Our whole conversion method was to get someone onto a call, to take them through a consultative sales process and make a close. This means we weren't trying to sell one to many in a webinar. We weren't trying to sell in the DMs. We were like, how do we master just selling on a call? And again, selling in the DMs and selling from Google Docs, which is really popular now, while it's great, that wasn't huge back when we started doing this. So we wanted to master one thing. If you choose to do the whole Google Doc thing, there's a whole lot of nuance to that. I'm not going to that into this video, but like master one way of converting to get you to 50K a month. The next thing is traffic source. So there's really only three ways to get traffic. There's organic traffic, there's paid, or there's partner. So organic would be things like, your social media content, creating videos like this on YouTube, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, writing on LinkedIn. Your paid would be things like running ads. I would put outbound, like cold outbound, into paid because you're going to be paying like SDRs, sales development reps, to be going out there and building lists and doing that stuff, or you're paying for software to go, scrape lists and do all the outbound emails. So I'd put that in the category of paid for the sake of this conversation. And then you have partnership opportunities. So there's really only three, but trying to do all three of these while you're still 0 to 30 or 50K a month is overkill and going to spread you too thin. So for us to get from 30 to 50K, we actually only focused on organic. Okay. So we were posting content, creating YouTube videos, engaging with people that engaged with our content. And we did that only on one platform while also using our email list. We had lead magnets. We were building an email list, but we were using only Facebook to build that list. I wasn't posting on LinkedIn at the time. I wasn't posting on Twitter. I wasn't really focused on LinkedIn. If I were getting started today, I would totally have gotten started with LinkedIn. In fact, many of our clients start with LinkedIn. I think it has the most opportunity right now for a service-based business. But when I was getting started in this 30 to 50K range, I had already been really active on Facebook and I had a lot of people following me and I was sharing a lot of business related content on my profile. And so I stuck with Facebook. So we have one ideal client profile, one core solution with up to 2 delivery modalities. Again, some of you might not even need 2 delivery modalities, one conversion vehicle, sales calls for us, one traffic source, which was organic for us, and one platform and our email list, which at the time was Facebook. So what I want to show you now is like, what did our kind of client journey look like from that perspective? So basically I loved video and I was posting video onto Facebook, but I was cheap at the time. And I was like, oh, I'll use YouTube to host my videos. Like that was the only reason why YouTube is mentioned here. So from an audience building perspective, today I would focus on YouTube or LinkedIn. But back then I was creating videos on YouTube to host for free. And I was really just emailing my list the videos and I was posting the videos on Facebook and writing content and copy along with those posts. So we had one platform that we were really focused on from like engaging with people and nurturing. I created one lead magnet, which was basically a video on how we built funnels and automation, like kind of our webinar building process. We did what we called a consultation engine. This was our sales call. The first like 30 to 50K, we had our core offer, which was we'll build a webinar funnel for you. In this phase, you can go up to 2 different delivery modalities. So the done for you and the done with you, meaning done for you is complete done for you service. The done with you was more a consultative. Hey, we're going to import these pre-built automations that are 80% already done into your application. And you're going to use a combination of videos and our consulting, which was small group consulting, to answer any questions and get through the implementation bottleneck of getting this thing live. So from a fulfillment perspective, we had 2 different offers, but from like a system perspective, we had one new client welcome campaign. So client signs up, they get a couple emails, tells them where to go, what to do, what the next steps are, sets expectations. So really to get to 50K a month, we had one audience building channel, one lead capture asset, one sales vehicle, and we had really one offer, one onboarding campaign for our core service, which was building out the webinar funnel. Now, we were using kind of social selling, which at the time I didn't know there was a term, but this was like, hey, someone engages with your LinkedIn content. You're going to now reach out to them and say, hey, thanks for connecting. Do you you need help. So like the social selling is like the outbound to your inbound. And so we have a whole playbook that we give our clients on how to engage with people that are interacting with your content. And also we would email our list, right? So I'd create a video, I'd write about it on LinkedIn, I'd email my list, say, hey, go watch this video. And so I'm getting people on different platforms, right? I'm talking to them, getting people to watch and consume my content. I'm nurturing people that are in my world by sending multiple emails a week. The way that I take people from my content into a lead magnet, into a call is really kind of this social selling system. It's that hand-to-hand combat, having conversations with people, inviting them to a call. A pretty simple set of tools and systems that you need in phase one to consistently get to 30 and 50K a month. Now, here's the thing. You're probably trying to make it too complicated and you're probably trying to do more of these things. You might have 15 lead magnets. You might be trying to sell on the call. Like I said, sell in Google Docs, sell one-to-many on a webinar. Like if you're below 50K a month, I would say that this is all you need. Many of our clients have gotten to 30 and 50K a month with this being their only playbook. And I'd argue that some of them don't even do this as aggressively as, the email list as aggressively as they needed to, because this was driving enough conversion for them to get the clients that they needed. So again, less is always better early on, but from a what might work for you, these were a handful of the ingredients that worked for us and are working for, many and many of our clients. And like I said, we've worked with over 700 people like you right now. Here's the thing. That's phase one. One ideal client profile, one core solution, one conversion vehicle, one traffic source, and one email platform, right? So I showed you what that looked like. Phase two is going from 30 to 50K a month to 100K a month. So here's what really changes. You still have the ICP, but if you haven't gone on to do the second delivery modality, this is where I would say add the second delivery modality, because there's going to be a lot of people that can't afford your done for you service, especially if you keep raising the rate and it's really high touch. So the thing that got us from 50 to a 7-figure run rate, 100K a month plus, was having that done with you version of our offer. In the beginning, it just served as a downsell where we'd get on a sales call and we'd say, hey, look, it costs, 20 grand to do this. And they're like, I can't really afford this. And I said, well, hey, we have this other option for people that are willing to take our pre-built campaigns and do this themselves. Does that sound like something that would be beneficial for you? And they're like, yes, I'm totally willing to do that. I'm like, well, here's how we can do that. It's $7,500. That, my friends, actually got us talking to relatively the same person, but we were able to monetize them. And this is why I say 2 stages of the client journey. So the ICP, meaning we were still working with authors, speakers, coaches that were selling courses online and using webinars to do it. But all of those people were already at a more advanced stage of business. They already had, a larger audience. They were maybe spending more on ads. And so it allowed us to serve the same people, authors, speakers, and coaches that just weren't as established yet as the folks that we had been serving at the highest level. They needed the same things for the most part. We simplified it for sure, but they got the same outcome. They got a webinar that sold their course. So like I said, you can get to 100 with only one delivery modality done for you. We just didn't want to. And so we found an opportunity to serve the people that couldn't really afford us in a really efficient way that I think most agencies can actually offer. And so we had a program, which was basically a group consulting, group coaching program, guiding them through how to build out the funnel for themselves. And we gave them a lot of it already pre-built. At phase 2, this is where we started offering what we call a customer offer. And we did this through workshops. So we right now sell $100 workshops. And these are things that help us monetize people that come into our world that maybe don't trust us or want a little taste or a sample of what we do. But those workshops are strategically aligned that many of them tied to, or starting with one, because there was one that we had, really drives into them potentially buying our core thing, our flagship, if you will. So the customer offer was really helpful because we could monetize and we could actually offset some of our ad spend, which as you see here, we still only focused on selling from sales calls, but in traffic, we added paid. So this is where we started running our own Facebook ads to that lead magnet that we had created. And so now we had Facebook ads running into a video sales letter or a webinar, depending upon what you call it. And that would invite people to a call. Now we have our one core offer with the 2 different delivery modalities. We added workshops and we still sold by sales calls and we did organic and paid. And we used our core content platform. Again, for me at the time was Facebook. And then we just started repurposing some of that into short form content just to start building our audience on places like Instagram. We weren't trying to use Instagram or these other platforms as I'm trying to get clients from them, but we were just trying to leverage the content that we had created to to make it start to feel like we were in more places. And so that was its only purpose, is to get attention on some of these other platforms. Everything still drove back to our core conversion vehicle, sales calls, to sell our core offer. Okay. So a couple notes on phase two. Again, looking back on what I know now, if you're not already focused on YouTube, I would say this is an opportunity to be, starting to expand. Like if you're writing a lot on LinkedIn, how do you take those posts and just film a video of you talking about those posts? That's good content that could be YouTube videos, because the searchability on YouTube compounding over time has been so amazing for our business and brought so many people to us. Again, in phase two, this is where you're starting paid traffic. You should be emailing your email list at least 2 to 5 times a week, and you're doing either a monthly webinar or you're inviting people to that workshop. I chose workshops because they're paid, but like once a month, I'm inviting people to a workshop, or once every other month, I'm inviting people to this $100 workshop. So at this stage, again, you still have your flagship, but you're now not only just acquiring leads, but with your paid workshop, you would be acquiring customers. So now let's look at the client journey for phase two. So everything in yellow is phase one, and the blue is what we're really adding, right? So whatever your one platform is here, let's say it was LinkedIn, now you're adding YouTube, right? You're also adding paid. I would recommend focusing on paid only on one platform. So like paid on Meta or LinkedIn. And this is where I would start using repurposing to have some short form. Again, we're not doing a ton with it. It's just there to start building our presence for later. And I would add either 1, a monthly webinar, or 2 paid workshops. I'm pretty bullish on the paid workshops because you acquire customers. So someone who buys this is no longer a lead. They're actually a customer. They've had a transaction with you. We still sell via the consultation engine. We still sell via a call. But in phase two, we're just kind of improving it. We're optimizing it. We're adding more automation. We're refining our script. We're adding some content that allows us to, guide our prospects through the sales conversation. So it's still selling via the phone. It's just like an improved version of that. Now, again, over here, we have different types of buyers. So we're still selling our core offer, but now you have your workshop, right? So it's something that is leveraged. This could be your done with you recurring revenue. You could add on, we have some people add on one-on-one private clients, but I really like the ability to acquire customers. So I recommend starting with something like a workshop. Depending upon your situation, we do have some clients that just bolt on. They have really high paying people that are like, how do I get your time? And it's a no-brainer to take on a couple one-on-one clients that pay you a premium for consultation. But the point here is that you have more than just your core offer now as a way to make money. Again, you're still using your email list and you're still engaging with people that engage with your content using some sort of social selling system. All right, so that brings us to phase three. So now we still have one ICP, but we're going from 2 stages of the client journey to 3. So you might have been looking at people that, obviously fit all of the criteria, that are ready to buy. Then the people that aren't as high as that person or established, next level down. The third level is where customers come in, is where you're like creating future clients or future members. So we have a framework that we've talked about in another video. I'll link it in the description, where there's 3 different types of buyers. There's clients, there's members, and there's customers. And each of the stages of the buyer's journey aligns with what you're going to be selling them, right? So if you want to monetize people that are going to be future buyers of your core service, well, you could sell them a product right now that helps solve their initial problem. So for example, when we were building webinar funnels, we had our core delivery, our one offer of doing the done for you webinar funnel. We had the second delivery modality, which was a group program. And when we added the product, was a few different things. One, we had the ability to let people buy just the pre-built automation. This is the equivalent now of like saying Go High Level, where you can give people your snapshot. Well, you could just sell your snapshots. You could sell pre-built campaigns with email templates. And so we were selling those to people as well. You might have a tool that you've created, a calculator or some sort of template that someone else can use in their business. You might be using it with your team to do your done for you service right now. Many of us are sitting on these digital products right now. They're on our Google Drive somewhere. We had those. We were still selling via sales calls. We now added partnership opportunities. So we'd go speak at events hosted by ActiveCampaign. We'd speak at events hosted by Infusionsoft, now Keap at the time. And so we got in front of their audience. Like we partnered with them, we added value, and it brought opportunities to us. So we had a partnership agreement there. And again, we have our core content platform, but we're now starting to outbound all of the inbound that we're getting on those other platforms that we've been repurposing content to. So up until phase 3, we had been focused on Facebook, we added YouTube, and we were repurposing to places like Twitter, Instagram, et cetera. But I wasn't actively on there trying to turn those engagers into prospects. But once you start getting over 100K a month, you can really look to start harvesting lead opportunity and customers from these other channels and other platforms that you're on. Again, I think less is better across the board here totally. So you might not need to do every single thing mentioned on here just to get to these phases, but I'm saying this is what has worked for us and a lot of our clients. I think the key distinction here that I want to call out is that as you get to crossing 100K, you have multiple income streams that serve different purposes in your business. Clients are those like high touch, premium type people that you might only serve maybe 10 to 20 a year of. You're going to make most of your profit from the members, and customers is going to help do two things. One, help offset any sort of paid advertising that you might be doing, but also serve the purpose of helping people earlier in their journey that might come back later and buy your Done With You member offer or your Done For You service. So it's a way to monetize people that are earlier in their buying process by solving a smaller problem with a smaller promise that demonstrates your expertise in more than just a free way and creates buyers. And we've had so many people that we've had buy our $100 workshop, for example, that then went on to buy our training or hire us for our services. We had people that would buy our pre-built automation, try to do it themselves because they felt like they wanted to, and then they'd still come and hire us to just do it anyway. So I think each agency has this kind of offer stack in them, if you will, but many of them tried to build out all of this way too soon. And so this is the 3-phase approach that we recommend. And the client journey, now we just are kind of doubling down and multiplying the things that we were doing, right? So now we have the workshops, and you see in the purple, we added products. We're continuing to improve the consultation engine at this stage. If you were the founder up here doing the consultation engine, by the time you're in phase 3, you're not involved in the sales process at all. You're still selling via the phone, but you aren't selling. You have someone doing your discovery calls. You have someone doing the consultations as well. And you start scaling the number of workshops and products. You're now using all of these things instead of just one. So you kind of see it keeps stacking on each other over and over and over as you are scaling up in revenue, and your team is likely growing alongside of this. But the kicker here, the key thing that you might notice is that as you're building down, as you're figuring out how to get someone the result of your core service, but in a more leveraged way, like doing it through training or workshops, you can actually serve more people at once, which is way more profitable once you've dialed it in. You actually can keep your team relatively lean. We were able to get over 100K a month with like a team of 5 or 6 people, right? It's like, that's not a lot of people to do that. Whereas like if we were to take our Done For You service, when we were at 65, 70K a month in our Done For You service, we were at a team of 12 and we needed to bring more people on. Now, there's obviously a lot of things I've learned now that I would probably change, but the trajectory of service-based businesses for most agencies that we at least deal with, they find themselves having to bring on a certain amount of people just to support the next like 5, 10 clients. And very quickly, your margins shrink. Now, if this was helpful, as you saw here, I put together all of this in one guide. There's some additional references breaking down the different delivery modalities, and also a handful of other supplemental videos that I have that you can check out. So if you want this for your records and to follow this and start implementing this, there's a link in the description below to download this cheat sheet for you. I hope you found value in this. And if you're looking for, again, that kind of client, members, customers framework, which I believe is the future way for most agencies to grow, go ahead and check out this video.